Y'all, Tupac's ex-girlfriend just came in and announced the most unspeakable things she's seen happening firsthand at Diddy's parties. The Diddler was caught with a man slobbering between his legs, but an even bigger shocker is who this other guy actually might be.
I'm sure there's weird going on behind the scenes, because them rumors been going for years. First she told me she saw somebody doing something to him, and she walked in and she thought, he never said nothing, he didn't even acknowledge her. So she's thinking she's under the radar. Next thing, she's hanging out in Miami, and she comes back and says she don't know what happened, and she woke up, and so,
What did she say she saw?
someone giving him.
From leaked audio clips where you can actually hear Diddy getting his clapped to videos, screenshots, and receipts all coming out to back what Tupac's ex just said. There's one question. Who is this mystery man that Desiree Smith caught giving pleasure to the walking PR disaster that is P. Diddy? Suspect number 1, Meek Mill. I know what you're thinking. Meek freaking Mill? Again? Well, these two have been caught up in the same room way too many times for us to just let it go. In fact, Meek isn't a suspect, he's the prime suspect. This leaked audio is why.
They had a recording of Meek and Diddy
making love?
Ew. I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it.
Yeah, that doesn't sound too pretty, but if they're doing this with each other, then what's stopping Meek from going on his knees for Diddy? This audio was leaked by a guy on the internet claiming to be Diddy's bodyguard, and he recorded it standing right outside the door where this act of love unfolded. Now, before we go all in on speculation, there are some claims that this clip is fake. Some say it's edited, and others, Azalea Banks, we're looking at you, claim it's very much real and exposes the obvious. That audio of Diddy and Meek Mill, it definitely sounds like Diddy is the bottom and Meek Mill is the top. That oh sounds vocally more close to Diddy's voice, and the exasperated ooh sounds like higher in tone and more in Meek Mill's vocal range. Now, if you've got an ear for tea, you know Meek Mill has always been caught up in wild rumors. But to go from dating Nicki Minaj to being involved in Diddy's extracurriculars, that's gonna get the streets talking. Of course, Diddy being linked to scandal isn't exactly new either. In fact, there's a long list of people who have hinted at knowing more than they should. And speaking of that, let's get into Lil Rod's accusations, because this guy came out swinging, and he also happens to be our suspect number 2, Rodney Lil Rod Jones. Now, this one is where things start getting real interesting, because if you've been paying attention to the industry, Lil Rod has been in the mix of a lot of wild claims. Wait, unless you don't know who he is. Well, I suppose an introduction won't hurt. Lil Rod isn't just some random internet conspiracy theorist. He's an actual music producer who's worked with some heavyweights like Jack Harlow and T-Pain. And according to him, he's seen too much. The coolest part is, he says there's proof. Videos, screenshots, receipts. It's all very believable since he worked on Combs' 2023 album, the Love album, Off the Grid. He appeared in an interview published by Rolling Stone where he said the following about Diddy. He's a monster. He'll do whatever is necessary to get exactly what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer. He told me himself, I'll smack my mama. Well, you know one thing monsters are really good at? Taking advantage of people. And since Lil Rod was struggling to pay bills back then, Diddy could have possibly made a good little boy out of him. So this mystery man Pac's ex mentioned could have very well been Lil Rod. Another reason he's a suspect in this case is because Tupac's ex mentioned the guy in question wasn't someone famous. He was just a behind-the-scenes worker, like an assistant or maybe a music producer. Hear it for yourself.
Were they famous? Did she say they were famous?
Oh no, they wasn't famous. They was an assistant working with her.
Suspect number 3, Fabulous. Remember this video?
Birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday to you. Woo! Happy birthday. It's fabulous. The only name that got the name that I want. My mouth a little dry. Let me drink some more. Okay. I love this drink.
Will you put my bag?
I like when you like this, Daddy. Daddy, I like when you scrambling and scraping. No, I like that.
We all hear Combs addressing Fabulous as daddy, right? Now rewind to the audio you heard of Diddy getting his cheeks clapped earlier. Azalea pointed out that he was the bottom and Meek was the top. But if it wasn't Meek on the other end, then it could have been Fabulous, because trust me, no man goes around calling other men daddy, really. Makes you think what kind of rapport these two had going. Then came the Drink Champs interview, where the Diddler pressed Fabulous about why they had never really partied together. The way Diddy phrased it, the intense eye contact, it was hinting at something else. Like the question really was, why I never been in your pants, man? Check it out.
I want you to party with me for your birthday, man.
We partied for my birthday before. You came to my party.
No, but me and you ain't never really party, you know what I'm saying?
Fabulous answered Diddy like he's a shy little 5-year-old, and it didn't go unnoticed. Someone commented, the quote of him sounding like a timid child is exactly what came to mind after I heard that clip. Wow, finally the music industry in Hollywood will be exposed. I really hope so. I hope there will be justice for victims. But what is he so afraid of? Could Fabulous be the man who was seen caught up in between the Diddler's legs? We can't be too sure about him because let's be honest, bro looked flabbergasted in the clip we just saw. But you know who we can be more sure of? Someone who's known for meeting Diddy behind closed doors. That someone would be Ja Rule. Suspect number 4, Ja Rule. Ja has a bit of a history of being in close quarters with the Diddler, but what we're here to discuss is his potential involvement in the mess that Desiree Smith witnessed. Let's go back to the beginning. According to Gene Deal, Diddy's ex-bodyguard, Ja Rule was present during some incredibly strange and suspicious events. Gene recalls the time when he was about to enter a private room only to be warned by Ja Rule, who told him, don't go in there. Now, why would Ja Rule say that? Could he have been trying to protect someone? Or maybe was he aware of something happening behind closed doors that he didn't want anyone to see? You've got to remember that Ja Rule's relationship with Diddy isn't some casual one. These two have spent a lot of time together over the years, and they've both been seen in some of the same circles. So the fact that Ja Rule could have been in the know about Diddy's private life gives him a certain level of credibility in this whole drama. Think about it. Ja Rule was a first-hand witness to things no one was supposed to see, and on top of that, he's actively defending Diddy. Yeah, in a recent interview, he took a firm stance in support of the bad boy mogul.
Again, man, it's another black man in this industry going through some unfortunate, circumstances. And so, I wish him luck as well with everything he's going through.
Ja goes on to explain it's a very unfortunate thing for the victims of these situations and for the people who are also being accused of these situations. I believe in justice, and I believe in the punishment fitting the crime. But now it gets interesting, as he adds, and if people get convicted of the things these people are saying, then they should be put in jail. But I also believe, on the flip side, if people are lying about these things, they should also be taken to court, tried, and be put in prison as well.
I believe in justice, and I believe in the punishment fitting the crime. I believe in that as well. And if people get convicted of the things that these people are saying, then they should be put in jail. But I also believe, on the flip side, if people are lying about these things, they should also be taken to court, tried, and be put in prison as well.
These comments show crazy support for Diddy, making it even more obvious that he's so invested in defending the Diddler's character. Last but not least, suspect number 5, Stevie J. The lawsuit filed by Rodney Lil Rod Jones makes some pretty serious claims about Mr. Combs. Jones says that Diddy and even threatened him for over a year while they worked on Diddy's The Love album Off the Grid. But the big reveal here is about Stevie J, who allegedly played a huge role in this. According to Jones, Diddy used his knowledge of Jones' admiration for Stevie to lure him into situations that were way beyond what he was comfortable with. The reason we think Stevie could have been the mystery man Desiree talked about is because these two seem to be in it together. By now we know that's just how things in the Diddy world be. Speaking of Diddy's world, we gotta talk about those parties, man, cause ain't no party like a Diddy party. Diddy has always been the king of big parties, but according to ex-bodyguards, industry insiders, and now Lil Rod, these events were actually hell on earth. I'm sure you've heard it all before. We know that these were highly exclusive, NDA-sealed, substance-fueled gatherings where rappers engaged in activities they'd never want the public to know about. Yes, like giving each other pleasure and getting walked in on. Now with Diddy's name popping up in so many questionable situations, even Tupac's ex has jumped in with her own wild stories. She recalled attending Puffy's birthday party in 1994 at the Roseland Ballroom, where the biggest names in hip-hop and R&B were in attendance. She described the night as a fancy, well-dressed event filled with celebrities, though not quite as extravagant as the ones Diddy would later throw. She mentioned that the vibe was lively, with music pumping and the industry's biggest players mingling. At some point during the night, she ran into Tupac, and they spent some time together. He eventually asked her if she wanted to leave with him or meet up later, and she agreed, because who in their right mind would turn down Pac? When asked about recent allegations surrounding Diddy, including claims of and abuse, Smith didn't seem the least bit surprised. She admitted that she had known about strange things happening behind the scenes for years. She even met one of Diddy's former security guards who confirmed some of the rumors floating around. She also shared a chilling story about a woman she met, a photographer from Canada, who had worked on a shoot for Diddy. The woman later confided in her about witnessing something shocking at his Hamptons house. A few months after that, she claimed she was while hanging out with Diddy's gang and had no memory of what happened. Sadly, this was not an isolated incident. These kinds of stories have been going around since the early 90s, with allegations against Diddy dating back to around 1991 or 1992. Desiree Smith mentioned the mystery man down on his knees giving Diddy pleasure in this same interview. So y'all let us know, who do you think that man is? What names would you add to our list of suspects? Drop them in the comments, and if you want more of the latest and wildest stories in hip-hop, make sure you watch that next video and hit that subscribe button. Until next time.